Hello and welcome to Smitty's. I am a wood cutting fanatic who loves to run a chainsaw. I run alcohol chainsaws, ported chainsaws, I race chainsaws, and I even run the occasional vintage. Now remember, I cannot do this without you. You're everything to the channel, so please remember, subscribe, give that thumbs up, leave that comment. Today, we are going to have a lot of fun. So how you doing? So today is, well, it might be a longer video, but it should be pretty action-packed throughout the whole video. So it should be a good one for you today. Basically, I got a whole lot of testing I need to do, and I'm going to slam it all out in one big shot. So that's what we're going to do today. So up first, we got probably going to be the most boring part of the video. I won't show much of it just because. Let me get my tripod situated here. There we go. Back there, you see it? That's the log splitter. Joey came up. I basically took care of the kids while Joey did all the work. But we did a bunch of welding on it, or he did, and fixed a bunch of issues. So I'll go over that with you in a minute, but we're gonna cut, one or two pieces of wood here, just make sure everything feels good and solid. But then we're gonna get to this part of the video you guys are probably gonna enjoy the most. Right back there. We got 4 saws laying there. They all need tested. Well, one of them is more of an example than anything. So let me kind of give you a quick rundown of everything we got going on here. And it should be a cool video. Alrighty. All right, so there's the splitter. She got a bunch of work done to her. The weld here had busted off. So Joey got in there, ground it all out, got her welded back up. We had big wings on here, and I think the wing causing pressure from pushing sideways is what broke that weld. So we cut the wings off. And the kind of like the angle iron joint that was here to keep everything good and squared up or whatever, it was all bent out of shape. So we took some scrap steel and he welded that up for me. But the pusher's smaller now, and I think it'll help with the side and side twist to help keep from breaking that weld. And my cutting edge was really bent out of shape, so we heated it up as best we could and beat it as straight as we could. So yeah, the 4-way is still good to go, and we're gonna give it a test run real quick. We'll just do 1 or 2 pieces of wood. Then down here is the saw lineup. We're gonna start off with the Homelite VI 130 that I built. Last time we ran it, it was starving for fuel. So I rebuilt the carburetor, new fuel line, new fuel filter, and I felt like, just in like bench running, I felt like I didn't fix the issue. So I thought, for the heck of it, let's throw that old muffler on there. I built that muffler probably 2 years ago. I called it the banana muffler. That looked like something else. But we threw that on there just in case. I feel like the muffler was really holding this saw back. So we'll see how that works out. It is running a square chain, which is part of the theme of this video. That is a square ground chain an individual had sent to me. That is one of the more aggressive ones. So that is kind of the performance level I am looking for out of my hand filing squares. So I kind of want to see how it feels. I'm not looking for, to see how fast it is or nothing like that. I just want to see how it feels, how smooth it is and everything. I feel like his ground chain is still going to be smoother than mine. So we'll see how that is. I did a video on this already with the square hand file. The chain was off, and I didn't explain what about the chain was off. The chain was too aggressive. So like, the effect if you go from like a 7-pin to an 8-pin to a 9-pin sprocket, and as you get to a bigger sprocket or whatever, you can actually lose performance. And that's kind of what was happening, is I made the chain so aggressive, it was causing the saw to lose performance. So I refiled the chain, touched all the rakers. So yeah, hopefully this is better. That hand filing is closer to what his grind is, but I think his grind is still better than mine. So it'd be kind of curious. I mean, that's a 325, that's a 3/8, and I find 3/8 is a lot easier to file than 325, but we'll see how it is. Now this is the 385. I did a hand square file chain on that before. In fact, I think the last time you saw it was my first attempt at a hand square file. This has been resharpened, much better looking, but again, this is probably too aggressive. We're going to give it a run. Those angles on there, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to be too aggressive, and it's probably going to have vibration or chatter or something. I doubt it's going to cut smooth, you know, because I think that was my second or third time I sharpened a chain. That is like my fifth or sixth. So, you know what I mean? I'm thinking we should be able to see a difference between, you know, as time progresses, is how my sharpening goes. You know what I mean? So, then finally, we're going to run this saw. This is the Holtz Forma 372. This is the one Bellhopper built for me. And if I remember correctly, I took 6th place with this saw at SawFest last year in the 372 Clone Wars. So we're going to give it a run today. This is a round file chain, or a round ground chain. This is ground using my favorite grinder settings. It's not meant to be the fastest grind. It's not a slow grind by any means. It is very smooth, if you know what I mean. Very comfortable grind to run. If you're curious, if you have, like I have the Oregon grinder, so the angles might be different between brands, but on my Oregon, it's a 60 degree at the head tilt, 30 degree at the top plate, and 0 at the chain tilt function. I find that whenever you start changing the chain tilt function, it starts making the saw easier to cut crooked and stuff. I prefer the 0 for pretty much all everyday work. So the 10 degree function is kind of just reserved for special occasions. I only, you know what I mean? I prefer actually to run it at 0 for all everyday function, for firewood, for, you know, fallen trees, for everything. So that's the way this chain's set up. And kind of a side factor here is we're going to get to kind of see how that chain performs against the one I have on the 385, because they'll be cutting the same piece of wood, and this one's going to be cutting the same piece of wood as well. I just threw a firewood round, one of my firewood rounds up. We'll slice a couple cookies off with it. So we'll get to kind of see how my round grind is comparing to these square chains. You know what I mean? Probably going to be a longer video till we get through all this, but yeah. Alrighty, let's get on with it. We're going to start with the home light, see if she runs and runs proper. If she doesn't, she doesn't. We just go back in and work on it some more. You know what I mean? And then we'll just kind of work down the line. We'll go with that one. This guy can't handle the size of wood I got setting up, so we'll have to find something else. But then we'll get into the 385 and then the Holtz Forma. And that is the Husqvarna 50 with the Partner 5000 top end. Just in case I'm confusing you guys, because we too have 2 saws on this channel that we're running a lot of that look like this. So this is the 50 with the Partner 5000 top end. So that's not, you know what I mean? She's the hotter one. This is the hotter build. So yeah, let's go ahead and have some fun. Well, she broke again. You know, finding the weakest link. So we got, oops. So the gap here for this plate to run along this rail, it's a little tight, and up here it's a little bent. She ended up jamming up in here. So what happened is whenever I tried to reverse it, she ripped it off back here in the back. You can see the cylinders up here where it welds onto this, and it ripped it off, which that wasn't a very strong joint to begin with. Easy fix, you know, we'll get her. But, you know, it's all about finding the weakest links, right? And we'll have to work on it again. That's just the way it is. Now, let's get on with the saws. All right, up first here is going to be the helm light. Let's see what she does. she's still starving for fuel a little bit. It's a lot better. I'm going to try a meter and lever adjustment. Basically the high jets ran out as far as I can go, and it wants just a tad bit more. So yeah, I'm thinking a meter and lever adjustment might get me to where it needs to be. Let's go to the partner next, or the Husky with the partner top end. You know what? We can probably, we'll deal with it. We'll just go with the same piece of wood. So there she is. The chain has tamed down considerably. I just need to make it a touch more aggressive. And I was studying up on it. It's the top plate. I had it the first time at 30 degrees. Now it's sitting closer to 10 degrees. And the studying tells me that 15 to 20 is where you want your top plate angle to be. So now I'm going to start bringing it back until I find my sweet spot of what I like, and then I know what to do in the future. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing. But yeah, cut's great. It's smooth. It's just my round grinds are faster. We'll tweak it though. I'm pretty certain the speed will come up a lot once it's no longer at a 10-degree angle, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how she does. All right, so this is the 385. So I just told you on the partner about the top plate being at 30 degrees is too much. This one's at 30 degrees. I need to bring it back closer to 15 or 20. So the partner top end one, it's sitting at 10, definitely not enough. And this one's at 30, and it's going to be, too much. So let's see how she does though. There she is. This saw actually does not mind the 30-degree top plate, probably because of how much more powerful it is over, a stock one. Now, it pulls like a freight train. It pulls too hard. Like there's a certain level, once you do this for a while, you kind of know when the pull is too much, and this one's there. So the next time I sharpen it, I'll just kind of pull it back just a tiny bit, and it should settle out. I bet you where I'm going to like them is going to be around a 20-degree top plate angle. I'm willing to bet. But cut's great. It handles this oak just fine. It's just, it does have a crap ton of pull to it. The saw just, it's able to handle it. And it's on an 8-pin. That's an 8-pin with this chain. Square hand file. File to be extremely aggressive. I mean, in a piece of softwood, this thing would just be butter. You know what I mean? Like it's butter and oak. You can imagine when it being soft. So yeah, let's get on to the Holtz Forma, and we'll see how that saw runs, and with a round ground chain. So we're kind of running these two saws back to back, so you can kind of get a difference or see a difference between the chains. So yeah, she is basically my favorite sharpening setup. It is smooth. Not meant for speed, but it still cuts pretty quick. You know what I mean? It is a 30-degree top plate, 60 degree. 60 is what makes it so smooth. Whenever you go to, you know, 55, 50 and less than that and stuff, that's where things start to get bitey and aggressive, really chattery in the wood and stuff like that. The 60 is what really helps smooth it out. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. I don't like a saw that's kind of chattery and has vibrations and stuff. I like them smooth. And that's why I like this setup. Now, the last time, it's been a while since we've seen this saw. I actually ran it a couple of times without putting it on video. This saw is just now, after what I've had this saw a year. You know, Bellhopper built it for me like a year ago, and it's just now showing me signs that it's fully broke in. So in a year's time, I bet you I ran, and that's how long it took for this saw to tell me that it's fully broke in. So keep that in mind. This saw is just now showing signs that it's going to perform at its fullest. And Bellhopper built a great saw here. This is a great running 372. So we might have to tune it though. We'll see. It's been a little while. Let's see what she does. So there she is. We can definitely tell the difference between round and square, can't we? So there it is. The home light, it's getting close. I just need to get it just a touch more fuel and it'll be right on the money. That's why I'm hoping a metering lever adjustment, you know, improves that. I didn't do a metering lever adjustment from the last time to this time. I just rebuilt the carb. I wanted to see if that solved the problem first. You know what I mean? Partner, top end, whatever, the Husky 50 with a partner top end, that saw runs phenomenal. You probably couldn't tell on video, but I was having to push the snot out of it to get it through that cut. Just the chain it wasn't hungry enough to eat the wood. You know what I mean? So a little bit more work on the chain. You know, we're learning here. As I figure things out, I will share them with you and kind of show you what I'm finding on this hand file and what angles and stuff seem to be working good. So, you know, stick around for that stuff. And the 3D5, hey, you know, that's a chain that does not work with the Husqvarna 50 with the partner 5000 top end or whatever. That chain sharpening will not work well with that other saw. Just the 3D5 has that much more power that it can handle it. It's kind of like going from a 7 to a 9 pin. You know what I mean? You have to have a whole lot of power to pull that much aggressiveness. And the 3D5 has it. I mean, it's got that 8 pin with that square at that aggressive level, and it's still pulling the snot out of it. You know what I mean? Where, you know, the other one, it's only, what, 50 cc, 49 cc, so it doesn't have as much power available, so I got to be more careful with that chain. But I will tell you, my round chains will run faster than that one. So, you know, we got to do some more work to that chain. Then finally, the Bellhopper saw. How many of you out there have seen this saw in the past and were like, holy cow, that thing is running way better than I remember? I'm thinking the same thing. The for some reason here, it was like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, that I ran it. And I was like, holy smokes, this thing just turned up. Like it's on a whole new level. And it did. It took forever for this thing to get to this point. And it has to do with breaking them in. You're creating a lot of pressure in the combustion chamber. And if that pressure is getting past them rings, it's really going to screw with the stuff that's going on in your crankcase. It'll do all sorts of stuff. It'll slow you down. You'll lose torque. And, you know, sometimes don't be so quick to judge. I mean, it's hard to really get a good, true idea on how well a saw performs until you're at least 10 tanks into it. Until it's really, you know, getting broken well. I think part of what broke this saw in is me sticking it on the mill and running, I think I ran a gallon of fuel through it on the sawmill. I think that's what broke it in. I had tuned it fat, ran it on the sawmill and milled up like 1 or 2 logs. I know I ran at least a gallon of gas through it. And I bet you that's what really got her broke into this point. Because man, is this thing freaking cooking now. Yeah, it's definitely something else. But anyway, hey, probably a bit of a longer video for you. A little bit of everything. I had a bunch of testing to do, and you know, I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. But this is kind of me, like you've seen me doing a bunch of videos talking about the break-in. You know, need to break it in. I've been really trying to push that subject a lot because don't be so quick to judge, especially on a saw that's not broke in. There's a lot of guys out there working their butts off and building these saws, but the first time you see them cut, even after the first couple of tanks, it's not going to be anywhere near the performance level of what they get to after they get a few gallons of fuel ran through them. Okay, we're probably at 2 gallons of fuel through that 372, and that's what it took to get it to this point. And you know, a lot of saws are like that. It takes a lot of time, and I just wanted to kind of do a little video talking about that. But anyway, hey, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.